A brazen attack on a gas plant in Algeria appears to have a homegrown component to it. There are reports today that at least two of the militants involved are Canadian. Daniel Proussalidis joins us now live from Ottawa. What have you been able at this point, Daniel, to confirm with Canadian authorities about all of this?
Well, Canadian authorities are pretty reluctant to confirm the information that we have so far. Part of it comes from Algeria's Prime Minister, who says there was a Canadian planner, a mastermind behind the hostage-taking in Algeria. There are other sources, security sources within Algeria, saying that two of the people, of the hostage-takers involved here were Canadian, based on documents that were found on their bodies. Now, we did have a chance to ask Foreign Affairs Minister John Baird about that, and Baird says he cannot confirm any of that yet. He says, I am certainly aware of the reports. We haven't been able to get any additional information from the Algerian government. We're working to get that information as expeditiously as possible, so we wait and see for any new information in that regard. And you are hearing, at least in terms of political reaction, from others at this point. That's right. Immigration Minister Jason Kenney has gone on to Twitter to comment on this. He read these reports about the possibly two Canadian terrorists involved in this hostage-taking, and here is what Jason Kenney had to say via Twitter. He can't begin to understand those who turn their backs on Canada to embrace what he calls the death cult of jihadi extremism. So certainly some hot language from the Immigration Minister there. And I do follow him on Twitter, and it's interesting. He does often comment on some of these current affairs stories. In terms of homegrown or possible homegrown Canadian terrorists who've gone abroad, Daniel, to take part in these Islamist operations, it's not really the first time we'd be hearing about something. So I have to wonder, what has the government done in terms of cracking down on it? By the way, there's been parliamentary testimony, for example, that there are dozens of these cases of people who have left Canada in order to take part in various terrorist causes around the world. Now, there is a bill before Parliament right now. It actually started in the Senate. It's already been through the Senate and is awaiting third reading in the House of Commons now. That would make it easier for authorities to prosecute someone who leaves Canada in order to participate in a terrorist act or to commit outright a terrorist act, setting a maximum penalty of 14 years. It's a conservative bill. It has the support of the Liberals. The New Democrats have been opposed so far, as has the Bloc Québécois. So there is that bill that is before Parliament right now. It might come up fairly soon once Parliament starts to sit once again at the end of this month. Well, very interesting and certainly timely anyway, Daniel. Thank you. Anytime. Important ground has been gained in the fight against Islamic militants in Mali. The French defense minister says Islamic fighters were forced to flee two key towns. This provides the French military with a strategic position in its battle. The Islamists have occupied the north part of the country for a year now. France has sent some 2,000 troops to help Malian forces when the militants started pushing further south, and Canada has loaned one cargo plane to assist France in its mission. 3 Afghani police officers were killed by the Taliban in an all-out assault on a traffic police headquarters in Kabul. 2 suicide bombers blew themselves up at the building's main gates. Then 3 armed militants started shooting up the building. It took 9 hours for security forces to finally ward off the attack and kill the gunman. This was the second major attack in Kabul within a week. Syrian warplanes hit the city of Homs hard with rockets. It has been a stronghold for the rebels since the conflict began 2 years ago. The push could be in retaliation. The regime blames the rebels for a total overnight electricity blackout in the capital, Damascus. The 2.5 million residents are used to frequent power cuts during the conflict, but city officials say this is the first time the entire city has been dark since the conflict did begin.